Week 2 was another crazy week of football, and we're going to be evaluating the trends for running backs because there's a lot going on at the position. One of the most valuable positions in fantasy because it's very volatile from week to week. So we're going to look at the advanced metrics here, see what we can see on some of these lesser-known running backs, see what the trends are saying to determine whether we want to pick them up off waivers, make that trade, or keep them on our teams. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you can stop missing out on this information, these deep dives on these players, so you can get better at the waiver wire, making those trades, setting those lineups, and everything else to win your league. But let's dig in. Let's look at these 10 players. The first player we're talking about today is Kareem Williams. We've been talking about him a lot over the last year and a half on this channel. Last year we talked about him. This year we're talking about him. Things are materializing. He had an 82.8% opportunity share. He had 10 targets yesterday, was used heavily in the game yesterday as Cam Akers was out. 45 fantasy points in 2 games. He's one of the top running backs in fantasy production right now. The game script wasn't optimal for him. It was against the Niners, and they figured out how to get it done. He runs a lot of routes. He's using the passing game. He is a very dependable player for the team because he's good in pass pro. He's going to line up where he needs to be lined up. He's going to hit the hole. He's going to do everything he needs to do, and that is huge for the coaching staff. That's going to get him opportunities, and with him being used in the passing game like he is, that's just going to elevate his floor in fantasy, and he's going to see better matchups than the Niners. He's going to see better matchups down the road, and right now he's a player that needs to be on a roster in your league and potentially a weekly starter with this type of workload. Any running back seeing this type of workload is a weekly starter, and there's going to be some down games, there's going to be some up games, but if you're seeing an 82.8% opportunity share, you're going to have a lot of good performances in fantasy, even though the yards per carry is not always going to be there, even though the efficiency may not always be there. We're going to have some good games because he's being used in the passing game. He's seeing targets. He's getting opportunity, and that's what you want most out of your running backs. Our next running back we're looking at here is Rashad White, and he looked good too. Had a very good week. 17 carries, 73 yards, had 5 targets, and a 15.6% share of the passing game. 103 total yards, very productive. And this is a running back that could be used heavily in the passing game. Good pass-catching running back could also run it between the tackles. It's good to see. We saw this out of him as a rookie. 66% opportunity share, which is very stellar. Very good to see. Over half of the workload going to him. And when these game scripts go like this, the Bucs are up. He's going to get some run. He's going to get some workload. And when the Bucs are playing from behind, he's going to get some workload in the passing game. He's a safe running back. There will be down games. There will be up games. That's just how the game is played. Rashad White, though, trending up right now as of this week. Next, we are looking at James Cook. James Cook has been playing very well so far. Very productive first 2 games. Yesterday, off the chain though, 123 rushing yards, 58.3% opportunity share, 4 targets and 11.1% target share. That's huge for how this offense is made because they like to chuck the football all over the yard. They had a huge lead on the Raiders as they won 38-10. 159 total yards. He's exceeding expectations. He's explosive. Catches the ball out of the backfield. One theme that we can say off the first 3 running backs right now is they are used in the passing game. Being used in the passing game creates more opportunities. Plus, you get more points per touch in the passing game. Makes you more efficient. Fantasy points wise, it's a good thing for a running back to be used in the passing game. It elevates their floor in fantasy and also boosts their upside. Very good to see. And James Cook being solid out there. A good start to the season. Next is Kenneth Walker right now. And the one thing we want to say about him is people faded him in drafts a little bit due to Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet is not a bad back, but Kenneth Walker is getting the workload, a 73.1% opportunity share. That is proof that they are riding him until the wheels fall off. They kind of fell off during the offseason a little bit. He did have some injuries, but he's back. He's looking good, and he is balling out. 43 yards, though, but 2 touchdowns. And what we're following, though, is the workload. The workload's there. 73% of the opportunities out of the backfield, just leaving crumbs for everybody else. That's what's big about Kareem Williams' workload right now, because you're not seeing many guys in the 80s and 90s percents with these numbers. 73 is a very high rate there, and we're chasing that. 2 targets though in the passing game, as they don't really need to funnel targets to the running backs. They have 3 good wide receivers out there. But again, Kenneth Walker getting workload, runs in the 4.3s. He's explosive. Did it last year. He's doing it this year. And he needs to be on your radar if you can get him in trade. Next, we're looking at Javonte Williams. The one thing about him is he's coming back from that injury and he's getting workload. He's getting touches, rushed for 44 yards. He's sharing with Samaje Perine, but he saw 61.8% opportunity share. Could be a cheaper back on the trade market. The thing I like about him is he's seeing 4.5 targets per game. That elevates his floor because he's being used in the passing game. That could allow him to get some opportunities and plus game scripts down the line, and that could fuel some fantasy production. If something happens to Perine and he's getting more opportunity share, if he starts looking better, starts feeling better from the injury as we get further along away from that, then he's going to get more opportunity share. There's some upside here with Javonte Williams, but it really just depends on the price in your market. Next, we are looking at Joshua Kelley, and he busted this week. He busted, and it was in the cards. Look who they played. They played the Titans. We knew that was going to be a crazy game script, and it was. Titans won 27-24, and there was a chance it could have been even lower scoring than that even. But the thing about Joshua Kelley is even when Eckler comes back, he will still get opportunity in the run game and will be a handcuffed running back that you're going to want. Not every game script's going to go his way. And the thing about this is an explosive offense. You want running backs on explosive offenses, and he saw a 60.9% opportunity share and a 79.4% snap share. He was out on the field. Probably would have had a bigger snap share, bigger opportunity share if they weren't playing from behind, if the game script didn't break. However, he is one of the top handcuffs in the league still. Next, we're looking at Zack Mossier, 100% opportunity share. He had 4 targets and scored 20 fantasy points. Very productive. You're not going to see many running backs out there with 100% opportunity share. Even if that decreases with Jonathan Taylor out, it's not going to decrease by much because they want to funnel him the football. He is a running back that you're getting for the touches, and hopefully he falls in the end zone that week, but he's getting touches. You want running backs who get touches on the back end of your roster, back end of your lineup. Those are the running backs you're shooting for. If they're getting touches, then they're getting fantasy points some way, shape, or form, whether it's a little bit or a lot. But you can't score fantasy points if the ball's not getting in your hand. He's guaranteed to get the ball in his hands to some capacity, and that's something that you want. Next here, we're looking at Gus Edwards, rushed for 62 yards and a touchdown. Decent week in fantasy for him. However, we just want to talk about this offense here and him and Justice Hill. Look at the opportunity share between these two backs. It's 50% for Hill, 37% for Gus Edwards. Pretty close to touch distribution. Justice Hill nudged him out a little bit there, and then Hill also got more snaps. As you look at, he won 43-32 between the two running backs, but Edwards won out on fantasy points. The thing about this, it's going to be up and down between the two running backs. Who can cross the goal line? Who gets that big touch? Who wins on the game script? And what happens going forward? They're gamble running backs. You throw them in your lineup, you close your eyes, see what happens. Sometimes you're going to need that, sometimes you won't. But at least we know what this offense is going to look like going forward. Next, we're looking at Amir White, old Zeus here. One of our favorite handcuffs. And the thing about him, it's not the production, it's not the game script, it's not the game really. He's the only running back behind Josh Jacobs who have seen rushing attempts. Amir Abdullah has been using the passing game a good bit. However, Amir White looks like he's going to be that dude between the tackles if something happens with Josh Jacobs. That's a trend you want to pay attention to just in case. We're not running to the waiver wire on this one just yet, but we identify the trends and we want to know about them now just in case things happen. Next, we're looking at Alexander Madison. He has not played well, has not looked great. 8 carries, 28 yards. Not the greatest production here. However, 80% opportunity share. And if you're looking for players to trade for and you're looking for cheap players out of the bargain bin, this could be it, as he's still getting touches out of the backfield. That could lead to fantasy points down the line. You're looking to pick up running backs off waivers anyway, who who are getting touches, who may not do anything with them anyways. He's going to have some matchups here in the near future that could be very interesting to fantasy gamers. We're only 2 weeks into the season, and it's been a crazy year for the Vikings as they already took 2 L's. So really, you want to pay attention to Madison. You want to watch him. If he's free, then okay. He's not the greatest running back. It's not like I like him or anything. But if a running back's getting touches, he's in an offense that can move the ball, then there's going to be some weeks where he is being fantasy relevant, and then you're going to have to play the matchups. But those are trends for 10 running backs from yesterday's games. We're looking at their production. We're looking at their offense. We're seeing whether we can trade for them, pick them up off waivers, or just watch them for a little bit longer to see what happens. But we got to know what these players are doing. We got to know the advanced metrics, and we have to see if we can nail a prediction or see the root cause analysis to why some of these players are being productive or how they could be productive down the line. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the next video.